Hi, I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Today I'm going to show you what might be my very favorite recipe of all time. We're going to be doing Cioppino, which is an Italian-American seafood stew. This dish was made popular in San Francisco. It's really easy to put together, and one of the things I like about it most is you can customize it. You can customize it to suit your own tastes in terms of the seasonings you use, the type of seafood. There's really no limit. I don't think I've ever made it the same way twice, but it always turns out great, so stick around and I'll show you how it's done. So the first step to making a really great cioppino is to build the broth. We're going to start by sauteing some vegetables. So I have a large pot. You want to make sure to use a pot that's large enough for the entire dish. I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of olive oil, and to that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. So we're just going to let that melt for a moment. And now I'm going to add in the vegetables. I have 2 stalks of celery, 1 carrot, and about 3 shallots. But you can really use any type of vegetables you like. Sometimes I use bell pepper, fennel's a popular option. You can swap out those shallots for some onions. You just want to use a couple cups of vegetables. Customize this dish to your liking. So I'm going to get that in there and give it all a big stir. We're going to cook those for about maybe 5 minutes or so. And of course you always want to season as you go, so I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt and some black pepper. Give everything another stir. And after about 5 minutes, once you get a good saute on those vegetables, but you want to stop short of browning them, we can start building some real flavor here. So I'm going to go in with 3 cloves of garlic. And we're going to go in with some fresh thyme leaves. I've separated the leaves from the stems and sliced them up. I'm going to get that all in there and give it a big stir to incorporate everything. The next ingredient is some tomato paste. I'm going to go in there with quite a bit. I like to use probably 3 or 4 tablespoons because I like a really thick cioppino. So I'm going to get that in there and again, give everything a stir. We just want to saute this tomato paste and let it brown and turn dark. It's going to build some nice color and flavor. Now next is a bit of a controversial ingredient. I'm going to add some anchovy paste. Now if the idea of putting this in absolutely disgusts you, you can leave it out, or you can substitute with some Worcestershire sauce, but I recommend you give it a try. It's going to build an amazing flavor into the cioppino, and no one is going to know that it's in there. It's not going to make the dish taste fishy. So I'm going to go in there with a little bit of this, and again, give everything a big stir to incorporate all these flavors. We just want to saute this out a bit before we add the liquid. Already, this smells amazing. And another really important ingredient, I really like a lot of heat, so I'm going to go in with some crushed red pepper flakes. Stir to incorporate it all. You can use more or less depending on how hot you like your dishes, but I like my food spicy. Okay, so once you have some good color on that tomato paste, once it turns like a brick red, only takes about maybe 2 minutes, we want to deglaze the pan. I'm going to add 2 cups of a dry Italian white wine. I'm using a Pinot Grigio. This is going to help us deglaze and get all that flavor off the bottom of the pan. So now I'm going to turn the heat up to medium high, give everything a big stir, get everything off the bottom of your pot, scrape those sides a bit if necessary. So we are going to bring this wine up to temperature. Once your wine comes up to a simmer, we can add the next ingredient, which is shrimp stock. You can really use shrimp stock, fish stock, clam juice is another option. Now I know many people have probably never cooked with fish stock or a shrimp stock, so I have a link in the description box below for my recipe for that. It's actually not my recipe, it's a Barefoot Contessa recipe, but it's very easy to follow. So we're going to bring that back up to a simmer. And once the cioppino broth comes up to a boil like this, we can add the next ingredient, which is some San Marzano tomatoes. Now you can use other types of tomatoes. Crushed works well. This is a 28-ounce can. San Marzano tomatoes in their juices. You want to get everything from that can in there. So now our broth looks good. We just need to bring this back up to a boil. It's on medium-high. Once it hits a boil, I'm going to back the heat down to a simmer, and we're just going to let this simmer away for 30 minutes. And that should be enough time for all those flavors to mend. And the total simmering time is 30 minutes. About 15 minutes in, I like to add 4 thin slices of lemon. No more than that or it can overpower. So we just want to let that go in. And at this point, we're going to start prepping our seafood to go into the cioppino. And the beauty of this dish is you really can use any type of seafood you like, either whatever you like or what looks best at the grocery store. So I have some wild shrimp. I have some sea scallops that I've cut in half, and I have some cod. You can use any type of white fish. And additionally, I have some mussels that I have cleaned. You want to be sure to scrub these really, really well to get any grit off of them. Make sure that if any of them have opened up before you cook them, you want to discard those. Don't eat them if they're already open. You could also use clams or a combination. Okay, and now we're ready. I am going to crank the heat all the way up to high. This has been going for 30 minutes. And now at this point we can add the seafood. So one very important note to make, you definitely don't want to overcook the seafood. If you've been overcooking your seafood, just stop. Stop doing it. It ruins it. We're going to let the seafood go once we add it to the pot for only 3 minutes. That's plenty of time. You just want to make sure that the fish is cooked through and is no longer translucent, and as soon as those mussels open up, they're ready to go. Okay, and just a moment later, we're back up to a rapid boil after turning the heat up, so we're going to go in there with our seafood. Going to add in the mussels, and all you want to do, you want to get it in there, give it a quick stir just to kind of make sure everything is submerged. And then I'm going to put a lid on it. I'm going to let it go for 3 minutes. Okay, and we're 3 minutes in, and that's what you're looking for. That seafood is cooked perfectly, but not overcooked. The mussels have opened, so I'm going to turn off the heat. And you always want to remember, there's residual heat in that broth, so it's going to keep cooking. So you always want to err on the side of cooking it less. If you learn nothing else from this video, remember that. And then the final step, we're going to garnish with some fresh herb. Now today I'm using fresh basil, but you could use Italian parsley, oregano, really anything you like. You just want to get that in there, give it a bit of a stir. It's kind of hard in this big pot. This cioppino looks amazing. We are ready to serve it up. It's going to be good. Okay, so here's the dish plated up, cioppino, Italian-American seafood stew. I like to serve this up with some toasted bread. This is a baguette. I've just added a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, toasted it in the oven. Really, really great for dipping that broth. Let's see how everything turned out. That is really, really good. Let's dig in and give some of that seafood a try. So we built so many layers of flavor into that broth. The way we did it, really thick, luxurious, flavorful. Seafood is perfectly cooked. And I think my favorite part might be this bread, just dipped in that broth. That's why I serve it with so much. This turned out perfectly. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you follow along the simple steps of the recipe, you can do this dish too. It's going to absolutely wow your friends. I've served this at special occasions, dinners, get-togethers, always a big hit. I hope you like it. Once again, I'm Eric with Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.